It has been my goal to get MSE treatment ever since hearing Ronald Eads' testimony on the Jaw Hacks YouTube channel. And MSE treatments are not easy to come by, so you can imagine my elation when I found a provider right in my state. But unfortunately, I just got off the phone with them and found out it's not a good fit. Not only that, but I feel very disheartened right now for several reasons. The first is that this was not an airway-focused orthodontist. It's very difficult to find an airway-focused orthodontist, and on top of that, one who does MSE. It's very likely that I'll have to go out of state to find the treatment that I'm looking for. He did suggest jaw surgery to me, which I want to keep on the table, but I don't know if I might want to do MSE and then jaw surgery, or maybe jaw surgery and then MSE. My goal is to get expansion both transversally and sagittally, and create just a lot of space in my mouth for my tongue, a lot of space in my airways, and I'm worried that only going for jaw surgery might deprive me of some of that, but also that if I go for MSE, it might solve enough of my problems that I wouldn't be able to have jaw surgery covered, because as you may or may not know, sometimes jaw surgery is covered by insurance. Another thing that really rubbed me the wrong way about the consultation is I sent in photos that were taken extraorally and intraorally by my old orthodontist. When I mentioned his name, the orthodontist I was speaking to seemed to get rather excited. He said he admires that orthodontist's work. He said that my bite looks incredibly good. He's really happy with it. And as someone who has struggled a lot with increased facial recession after an orthodontic treatment, that's a little bit scathing to hear, because it's kind of like they're not acknowledging that your problems exist. Another thing that rubbed me the wrong way was that when I mentioned Dr. Mew, as you may or may not know, Dr. Mew and his father, Professor John Mew, are kind of the fathers of Orthotropics. When I mentioned Dr. Mew, this orthodontist's face it just kind of died a little. Oh, Dr. Mew, yeah, I know them. They've been talking about such and such for about 50 years. He was very flippant about it, in my view. Maybe that wasn't his intention, but I felt as though he didn't respect them or their work. And I had this thought in my head that's like, yeah, if they've been talking about it for 50 years, this Orthotropics thing must be really important. There's a reason that this guy has been talking about this for 50 years to the point where he has lost his job to the British Orthodontic Society, because people don't want to hear this. Orthodontists don't like change in the industry. And, you know, I can only imagine how incredibly strong and brave the Mews are for putting up with what they do. And to get just a tiny little taste of that firsthand, it's really disconcerting. It's upsetting. It just speaks to such a large problem in our society and in orthodontics. So there were several times in that phone call where I felt compelled to just hang up. I tried to be respectful, but, you know, I calmly told him, I don't think we're going to be a good fit. And his advice that he gave me was to search for other things I can do, try to tackle my symptoms one by one with treatments that are more reversible than MSE or surgery. It seemed as though he didn't acknowledge that I had done a lot of research and that I was looking for a particular treatment, so I felt a little bit patronized. And I hadn't expected the consultation to go this undesirably for me. I mean, I guess it would go fine for someone who isn't interested in an airway-focused orthodontist, but for me, for my expectations for what I'm looking for, it was a little bit disappointing. You'll notice that I'm not saying any names because I don't want to badmouth anyone or slander anyone, but I really, really hope that the orthodontic industry can turn around and start to see some reason and see the value in airway focused orthodontics, see the value in orthotropics, and start offering more treatments like the one that I'm seeking, so that we can start turning people's faces around and changing their breathing and changing their lives, and give licenses back to the Muse. Dr. Muse still has his, but poor Professor John Muse, he doesn't have a license to practice. I mean, can you imagine trying to go into this field as an orthotropist and having your license on the line? You'd have to be a martyr. So thanks for listening, and I'm going to keep on looking for an MSE provider, maybe go a little further south, maybe travel a bit. I'll talk to you guys later.